Hey, Ziltifa. We'll be going live in just 1 second. Thanks for joining us. Haha, what? Good to see you, Gorgor. Thanks for the sub. We'll be on in just 1 second. We are live here on Plus One EXP's Roll for Content channel. Man, this replacement camera, the light is like super weird on it. My name is Tony Vicenda. I'm Chief Alchemist here at Plus One EXP, which is a weird little brand that multi-classes in tabletop game design, beard and skincare alchemy in the Bardic College of Content Creation. I know some of y'all were already hanging out in the chat, but we're excited to have you here with us for our first ever Feline Friday. I'm sure we'll have some more Feline Fridays as we go. Jert, what's Feline Friday?
You picked the name, man.
Jert asked me right before we went live what we were gonna do, and I was like, "Oh, don't worry, I got it." It's not a cult. But no, if you're just joining us, spacepenguin.ink is a new publishing company, imprint, zine, workshop, warehouse, all kinds of stuff that is in the process of launching right now. The web store is going to be up shortly, and we're going to talk about what it's like to launch into things, who Jert is, and a little bit about the process of deciding to start your own imprint. Because here on Plus One, one of our big hopes is to help connect creators, designers, artists with players who can fall in love with their games. I'm a huge fan of the work that Jert has done in the scene for the last long time, and all the times we've got a chance to work with each other, which we did a lot of before, and we're bringing back. That's right, Spink plus. You can't say plusy um, easily. That's a hard thing to say. Maybe Spink slash Plussy would be easier.
I looked over, but I knew who it was.
You
I knew.
100% knew who it was. Yeah, absolutely, without a doubt. We're excited to have everybody here tonight. Jarrett, for people who don't know who you are, why don't you tell people who you are, what you do, and where they can find you online? You have to tell them that this time. In the past, you didn't have to.
Well, it's
Now,
not
now
me.
you
You
have
find the
to.
company. Hi, I'm Jarrett or Jert. You can find me on Discord. That's usually where I'm at. The company has a Twitter at spacepenguin.ink, and this is how untwitter savvy I am. I don't know if, like Discord, usernames or ats are case sensitive, so it's at Space Penguin Inc. and the S and the P and the I are capitalized. Yep, old man over here. We also have a Facebook page in the works, Instagram. It's a visual medium,
It is a visual medium.
and yeah, and we're going to be rolling out a Substack. I'm lucky enough to be working with Die Sugars.
You've gone so deep into where to find you, Jarrett. Tell people who you are.
Well, okay, me, I'm Jarrett. I it's been 6 months since we've done a show, buddy.
Jarrett and I used to have a monthly show. This is pretty good for us, also too. I'm going to point out we're doing pretty good. Tell people who you are. People who don't know you. People who are coming across this for the first time. You are the chief cat herder at Space Penguin Inc. But what's your background? Tell us a little bit about some of the stuff you've done in the scene. Impress people with all the cool stuff that you've done.
Sure. For the last 11 years, I have been back working in tabletop RPGs. I learned to play when I was very young, 7, 8 years old. And then I had 2 younger brothers who I taught to play. Spent a long time post high school just playing board games. It's a lot easier just to find people who wanted to play board games. And then, yeah, like about 11 years ago, I was working with some folks, and they were like, "Oh yeah, man, we play," and I was like, "Oh, that would be really great to get back into." And Andy Hoover started running us through some D&D 4E, and then he was running a module that was from the Goodman Games 3.5 line. It was before it was DCC RPG. It was the Dungeon Crawl Classics. Still, I guess it's both. Whatever. And I fell in love with the art on the back, and then I discovered what DCC was, and then started playing that. And then for too long, I was usurping the D&D 5e public play nights to teach folks how to play DCC and Traveler and Troika and eventually Mothership and a bunch of other stuff. I've worked with a lot of people over the past 10 years, starting like with doing some proofreading on Expanded Petty Gods and all the way to the present. I've done Mothership. I'm the editor-in-chief there for that line. I've also been on the small one. I've also been on the editorial team for Morkborg, UVG, Ultraviolet Grasslands, Witchburner Long Winter, Herbalist Primer, Troika, a lot of the Melsonia, like a lot of Melsonia, and some other stuff coming out eventually from Melsonia that is still in the works. Stuff from EF, stuff with yourself,
You're flying under through the void, yeah. And so, no, so just somebody who's been around for a long time. So I just want people to get a sense of you've been around for a while. You're a player. You're somebody who loves the games. You're a game runner. And then, but you're big part of your contribution has been project management and games. There are over the last few years hundreds of games that exist. Thanks in no small part to you, right? Obviously, the creators come to you. They want to work with you, stuff like that through your work with all those lines at EF, which is where we used to do Funeral Fridays, which is what the Feline Friday is an homage to, but we'll probably keep also too. And yeah, you're launching your store, and we're helping launch your store. When I say we, I don't mean plus one, though obviously there's going to be a lot of close affinity there. But our parent company, Brand Fox, is helping with the shipping, fulfillment, logistics, which meant I got to build your website. Our team got to help with some of the graphic design elements, a lot of fun stuff, in addition to all the great work that Dave and Di and everybody else is doing to help make things happen. And we've got a lot of great creators here in the stream also too. Who have made different games that you're going to be launching. So what I kind of want to dive into for this is, you've worked in all these different capacities. Now is the kind of the time where you said, "Hey, I've been around for a while. I'm going to start my own." My own imprint, my own publishing company. And there's a lot of like kind of very specific things that have been really helpful and giving you a leg up on that we don't need to go into. But I think one of the things that could be most helpful is kind of like, talking a little bit about what is the vision or what's your hope for Space Penguin, I think is where we want to start, because it's not dry and boring. But then also maybe some of the specifically like things you underestimated or things you didn't think about or things that have surprised you as you've gone through this process. Because I think a lot of people are like, oh, I want to start publishing my own games. And it's easy to do if you just want to slap a label on something and say, this is my label. It's harder if you actually are trying to create sustainability and especially avoid crowdfunding, which are things both of which you're doing. And so let's talk kind of big picture. Like what are you excited about for Space Penguin? What are your hopes for Space Penguin besides make a gazillion dollars in the
Wait,
high,
you get paid to do this?
high stakes?
What the hell? Nobody told me that.
So let's talk a little about that. Also, we're at 17 viewers right now. Jarrett didn't think we were going to get over 20. So if you haven't gone and shared the tweet over on Twitter, let people know that we're here. I am going to try to get my giveaway system working again while we're talking so that we can do some giveaways. But otherwise, I'm just going to roll a random number between 1 and 20. We're going to have people pick what that number is later on. We'll do it the old-fashioned way. But we are going to do some giveaways of some cool titles. But while I'm working on that, tell people your big hopes for Space Penguin, or kind of your vision for why y'all are doing this.
Sure. A chunk of it is me wanting to get my own stuff out there. And yeah, I have ownership and it know in my brain feelings of ownership of everything that I work on. Like I dearly know that one. Particularly for me though, is I really, 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 really like board games, and I really like old ridiculous board games that aren't maybe like they're like enshrined and we love them for nostalgia, but maybe they could be like finessed and made better. The concepts were there, aka I want to steal from them whole hog and make my own and be inspired by them. It's the best way to do it. Steal, and then you learn what they did wrong, and then you put it out there, and people tell you what you did wrong, and then you try again. And a lot of that is putting my brain into making this sort of literally after hours, after you've worked at the convention all day, whether you're on the floor or running around gophering or just being there. You've ran games, you've played games, you've gone and run late night DCC Hobonomicon shenanigans at the Embassy Suites. And then everyone's like just fading out, and it's Sunday, and everyone's like, everyone who had to leave early is left. And you're just like hanging out. Everyone's just like 4 or 5 days glazed over. And you want to, and I pop this game out there. And it is just enough to keep us going and keep us playing and keep us interested in it. So it's called Kill the Wizard. It's coming soon. There's actually here in a couple weeks, there's going to be a powwow here with two of the artists, Andrew Bellery, who's doing the cartography and some of the character design, and David Hoskins, who's doing some character design. We're going to jam it out. We're going to fix this game. We're going to make it work. We were supposed to do it at GaryCon. It didn't happen. We were too busy. So yeah, a chunk of it is me wanting to put my stuff out there and just be like, hey, yeah. And then a lot of it is just working in a slightly slower capacity, I guess, with folks, leveling up my own skills editorially speaking, taking more time, practice time, working through stuff, specifically other people, working with new people, working with people whose stuff that in capacities and previous other spots, I was able to, work with them in project management or maybe mild editorial, but to get to really take someone's new stuff, particularly working with Amanda P on their resident mothership third party scene. They told me last night, they were like, I don't want to look at it anymore because I keep changing stuff. And I was like, I know. I'm just going to change it. So, and Art's coming along for that, working, we almost have our layout person and cartographer locked in for that. So just to be able to work with Amanda and Tony Trans on art for that one. Yeah. And I haven't got to work with Tony yet, so that's some of it too. I'm working with the usual suspects, of the folks I've worked with for a very long time and who I trust in particular positions and doing stuff like that. And also just practicing better communications, practicing, like you said, cat herding skills, learning that, just learning more stuff, awesome. Doing neat stuff.
I love it. We're going to talk a little bit about some of the different things you've learned along the way, some of the things you didn't expect. We're also going to talk about some of the titles today as we're giving things away. It's trying to, not sure if it's the issue I might have with Tony. I'm a lot quieter than Jarrett. I can adjust that. I can make Jarrett quieter and me louder in a number of ways. There we go. We've adjusted. So we're going to do some of that, but first we did promise the members of our Discord that we would look at a bunch of pictures of cats. So I don't have any way to easily actively share this with you.
So I have stream over here, so I can look.
Good. Yeah, it's going to be a little bit of a delay, but we're gonna over on our Discord, which I'm pretty sure I can pull up. Hold on. Discord. Well.
I can explain why we're gonna look at cats.
Why are we looking at cats?
Okay, so Space Penguin Ink is named after our older cat, Itty Bitty. She passed away at the beginning of May. She was 13. For the last 3.5 years, she's had diabetes, and she just developed some end of life, late stage complications. She passed. One of her nicknames was Itty Bitty the Space Penguin Kitty from Kansas City, and it just stuck. And then, I remember when I was trying to brainstorm the name of it, obviously wanted to get that in there. And then I don't remember I came up with one really long one, and you told me, you were like, no, that's just way too long. I don't remember what it was. No good for SEO. And I was like, oh, whatever. And then Mikey Lombardi suggested let's look at top level domains, and discovered .ink and spacepenguin.ink just kind of fell together and it worked. So that's why it's called Space Penguin, and there's the bits. And that's why there's a picture of a cat. Yes, we will have a page on the website that will explain more about Itty Bitty and how much we love cats and think they're the greatest thing. We welcomed a couple of new kittens into the home because Itty Bitty's brother, the Jeebs, yes, his name is the Jeebs sometimes, was feeling really, really, really lonely. So we welcomed Bo-Katan and Sabine Wren to the house the other day, and they are tearing it up. Forgot what it was like to have kittens around. So yeah, and someone said fine legacy for Space Penguin. These kittens are making Jeebs work for a life, which he hasn't had to for a while. So Itty Bitty's laughing from wherever she's at. All right, enough about my cat. Let's look at other people's cats.
So that got Itty Bitty up on the screen as an homage. You see it, but yeah, so I don't even remember the genesis of this, except for that I tweeted out that we were doing Feline Friday, like right as cat conversations were happening in the +1 Discord, which if you're not a part of, go to ttrpg.link/Discord. It's a great community. We had a whole bunch of people come in this last week We've always had a really chill, really great community, and that's one of the things I love about our Discord. But we've had some new people come in. It's gotten even better because whenever we add new considerate voices into the space, it always does. But it's been a really great week. But if you're looking for a fun Discord, talk about design, talk about industry bullshit is our most common channel. If you're not afraid of a P corner, it's a really great place to come hang out. ttrpg.link/Discord. But there were so many cat pics hitting it because I had done it right around that time that we just ended up overwhelmed. So I made a thread that was just cat pictures for us to share on stream today. This is Castiel. This is Brianna's lovely cat. We've got going here.
Looks so comfy.
You're going to see the insanity of the back end of me managing Discord also too. It's gonna be fun. That's a great picture right there. Oh, what up? All right, and Jared at the end's gonna say their favorite cat also too. Oh,
I'm not picking favorite cats.
Yeah,
Do you know how bad that will piss off the cats?
This is Christian. This is one of Meat Castle's cats. This is such a good picture. Look at that face. The expression on this face is so good. Yeah, everybody come for the RPGs, stay for the cat pics.
Stay for the cats.
Fitzy gets a lot of attention right now. Look at this. This is some good. I'm not a cat person. Like I'm not like cats are bad. I'm inherently a dog person for two reasons. One, I don't like managing creatures that can get up really high. And so because I already have 4 teenagers and I do not need another thing that can make messes. And also I'm allergic to cats. And so it's my dark secret. Here we go.
Oh, that looks like a comfy place to sleep.
Look at that little footsie. All right, and who are you looking at now? These were all Fitzy. Fitzy in a bag.
Perfect bag shot.
Excellent bag shot. This is Keegan went all the way to Facebook. This is Prince Giles von Fuzzbutt, first of his name, Duke of Alexandria, when he was a baby. I have met this cat as an adult. They are no longer anywhere near as cute when I went and stayed with Keegan.
That kitten is tiny.
Here we've got some gifts mixed in. This is Spice. This is Sam's cat.
Werner Herzog counts as a cat.
Herzog is a cat given human form. All right. After Spice, we're gonna take a pause. We'll come back to some more. It's great. This is exactly why I don't like cats as a picture.
Power move. Power move right there.
All right. We'll come back. We'll start with Sarah's when we get back. Let's talk a little bit about some of the games y'all are making. Also too, or actually before we do that, let's talk. Give me one thing that you were not like when you set out to start your own Imprint. And again, you're taking this very seriously. Like you have people who have financially invested in the company to give you all that the startup capital. Y'all put some of your partner, who I love, Debbie's assets into it, giving yourself a little bit of a seed. Y'all are lucky to have that. Like it's a huge leg up. Not everybody has, but it's letting you take the time to do things the right way. Let's talk about some of the things that surprised you about having to do things the right way. So, what are some things that you've kind of learned along the way, or something you didn't expect to have to deal with when you started this whole process?
Well, things I knew that I would have to deal with, the joy of accounting and QuickBooks and taxes and things like that. The biggest thing was, and I should know better because, I've renewed driver's license and, medical marijuana cards in the state of Florida. And I thought maybe the tax system would be a little bit easier to navigate. Some of those websites, awesome. I actually spent a little bit of time on hold this afternoon, and I was told that I was actually doing okay compared to a lot of new business owners, and I was only late on one RT payment, and I was like, okay, good, thanks, not bad for 6 months. So it's easy for me to say, oh, there's not like a manual or a list, and it's bullshit. There are business books. I picked up a copy of Small Business for Dummies. Did I read it all? No. Should I have read it all? Probably. It's
Still a
it's
little dumb. I'm still a
it's
little
a
dumb.
it's a little it's a little bit different than, I've printed many books, for myself and in partnership with individuals, and as part of companies I've worked with and for, and that's all well and good, but when you're the person responsible for the day in and the day out and all of those things, it is a lot. So I guess the biggest thing is, don't be afraid to ask for help if there's something you literally don't know how to do or what to do it. Marketing, for instance, just basic things like timing out when you push a post to particular sites, and that sort of like engagement and stuff like that. It's a world that I don't swim in, so I'm working with someone who knows what they're doing there. Just as a thing I can't do. So I did figure out that I kind of do like spreadsheets and QuickBooks and stuff like that.
Learning to be good at spreadsheets is so disaster tourism, who's in the chat. We're also gonna talk about curbs. Got to have me be, while we were driving down to Baltimore a little while ago, learning how to use like Google Sheets while doing revenue planning for the year for +1, and was like teaching me stuff as we go. But also say, like, if you're an RPG person who who doesn't think you like spreadsheets, you actually probably do like them a lot, and there's a lot of cool stuff you can do with it from a design and planning perspective. So just FYI. But yeah, diving into spreadsheets actually can be a whole lot of fun.
Yep.
So cool. Speaking of curbs, speaking of spreadsheets, let's talk about a game that you already have in stock. Let's give away a game. I cannot reintegrate the giveaway thing live here on stream right now because of a number of reasons. But let's talk about Adrift, which is up big next to us on the screen. But I do have this print copy right here because I stole it from the warehouse earlier today. This is my copy that I stole. But I did steal an extra set of copies and put them.
Who's going to pay for that? Kirby?
Put them on Carla's desk.
He owes us for a copy.
Carla's no, Kirby doesn't get a copy now because we're giving it away.
Here I am on stream talking about accounting.
Oh, sorry. Kirby wants me to say the whole title. Adrift off the islets.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Of Langer Hans. Puck sector, subsector, Scottish, Gloucester, 299.1.12221.887.310.43 for Mothership 1E. The crew is hired to recover the records from a derelict cargo ship floating in the islets Langerhans, an asteroid cluster in the Puck sector. No communication has been sent or received by the ship, but its cargo, an extremely rare phosphorescent algae that has medicinal and weaponous effects, is extremely valuable. However, there's more than meets the eye on the inside of this ship initially. By Disaster Tourism, published by Space Penguin Inc. We've got the digital up next to us. I'm going to roll a D20. I cut out. I should actually, because it's this is dumb. Because it's Mothership, we're gonna roll 2d10 and get a roll. And the first person to type the number between what is it, 0 and 99?
Wait, are you rolling percentage or are you rolling 2d10?
Look, it's Mothership, so I said I was rolling 2d10, but I really rolled a d.
You're in percentage. Okay.
Yeah, and so to type in the correct number, so it's gonna be a 2-digit number, somewhere between
0 and 99.
0 and 99. The first person to type it in correctly wins a copy. 69. Nice. Just gonna let it keep on going because this could take a while. We're gonna give it away. So why is this one of the titles? I have one of the PAX U hand printed copies of this also too. What made this be one of the titles you wanted to launch with?
So in fall of 2021, I started working with Kirby and their partner Kristen on Paranormal, and then Slasher, and then Bucket Bash, this Halloween triptych that they did, and that I was project manager for at EF, and 3 awesome, cute, sweet little fun Halloween, horror, seasonal. It's year round for me, but games. And then I worked with them both on some other stuff here and there, but it had been like about a year since we'd got to do anything like in depth. And they messaged me about the original Adrift, and I helped them get it through, did some round of edits and stuff like that, and actually I actually handled the printing at the UPS store where PAX U was, the printing and the collating and stapling for what is this, something about the array?
I will say also someone has already said the number. I just didn't want to interrupt Jared's flow.
So we did the Adrift version, the Ashcan version of Adrift at PAX last December, and it was great. It was my first time in Philly, first time meeting you all in person. Had a really good time. Looking forward to coming back this fall or this winter. I guess it's winter. I don't know. I live in Florida. It's the same.
It's all cold.
It's rainy season. That's all I know right now. And yeah, and then when I was making the moves to launch Space Penguin, it was a natural shoe-in. And to get to go through, Curb's gonna answer probably like 4 or 5 rounds of edits, just with the manuscript going back and forth. Trying to reproduce success that we've had with other folks that I've worked with and apply it. Is Kirby's first Mothership module. And I think it came out really beautiful, really fantastic. We don't want to give too much away about what happens in it, because it's a nifty, neat little module. And there are other things happening in the world of the puck sector. There's going to be a follow-up some point, possibly Q4 this year, maybe early next year, that will play into it. And like you said, I don't want to say too much. I don't want to give away.
I'm reading it right now. I am just going to say this is a really great opening page right here. Like this layout and design is super gorgeous, and just well done. I'm gonna show one more page spread of the station.
The Elu 9.
Yeah. Really, really gorgeous. Appropriately named. I've never been quite sure this person's name. I could say it quickly and it could be pronounced either way, but very appropriately for the stream, the first winner is Mr. Cat Ears or Mr. Cat Tears, one of the two. And I've never clarified which one it is. But we do need to know right now whether you are causing cats to cry, the sentient tears of cats, or if you are cat's ears. You did win a copy. Hit me up either over on Twitter or over on Discord. We'll get your address. We'll get that copy shipped out to you even before the store launches also too, because the store will launch in the next couple of weeks. We're just right there. We've got stuff coming in. We're all set and ready to go for the most part. Got a couple, take care of a couple more things, but we're pretty much there on it. But we'll get it out to you even before that happens. But we got some more games we're going to give away, so stick around, everybody. But yeah, no, I'm super excited about it. I'm very excited, but also Mr. Cat Tears or Mr. Cat Ears, in order to receive it, you do have to divulge how your name is supposed to be read / pronounced. All right, let's look at Sarah's cat.
More cats.
Yeah, we're gonna go back and forth. I gotta reset my I gotta reset the preview image. Discord, give me those cats.
I was just say, while you're doing that, another thing that popped in my head about the planning stages is add a buffer. Joked with Debbie today that we're only 3 months behind schedule.
Yeah.
Which is schedule. It is. I worked in the restaurant industry for 30 years. I've opened many a joint, and used to throw parties for film festivals and all kinds. It's nebulous. It will happen. I'm not super beating myself up about the 3-4 months out. Were there things that could have done to make it happen faster? I don't know. Maybe not. But give yourself a padding. Anybody endeavoring to get in hardcore like
anything games production wise, give yourself
this.
the pass.
Yeah.
This,
6 months is 6 months. Treat yourself.
This picture of this baby with this yarn is amazing.
It's a killer. I really love their nose. Oh,
that cat got so flat. All right, there's a video feature on this one also too.
Some really good vignetting in that last photo. Oh, whoa.
Sarah could have worked a horrible jump scare in here, and we would have never known it.
I know.
Find it out
or totally like we're about to get rickrolled, aren't we? Sarah.
You know what? This is actually what you should do. Anytime you have a late Kickstarter, just include a cute picture of a cat. And if anybody is like, "Hey, I'm upset," then be like, "Here's your money back, and no more cats for you." Here we're switching cats, which is another Meat Castle cat. This is Galileo, who's no longer with us, but in ways he's my forever pet, my astral familiar. Once he was a tiny feral barn cat, the last of his litter we rescued from my grandma's farm just before the big deep freeze of winter. He ended up being huge. So this is Galileo,
big boy.
There we go. All right, let's talk about another game.
Oh, I'm all like, you're all like messing with me. I'm like all in the cat zone.
Okay, fine. One more cat. This is Riley and Mac and Billy. So Billy is white, Riley is tuxedo, Mac is orange and white. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
Hi.
This is the kind of stuff you could be getting in our discount court. And I don't know. I'm trying to remember the context under which this came up. But that's a great coffee setup also too. This is Ken Lowry from Bannerless Games, who's also in the chat. Hey, glad to have everybody here for cat time. We're gonna see some of Jeff from Happy Jacks Games cats in just a minute. But before that, let's talk about another title. Let's see. What do we got next?
Here, do you want me to do Beyond the Silver Screen, because that one's still not in yet?
Sure, yeah, let's talk about that one, because that's not in yet.
Beyond the Silver Screen, by Forrest Aguirre, art by James V. West, Matt Hildebrand, David Lewis Johnson, Nicola Maioli, and Thomas Gile. This is one of my favorite DCC third-party modules of all time. Forrest put this out, I want to say, not quite 7 years ago, 6-7 years ago. It was one of the early first 1.5 wave of high production DCC RPG modules, third-party modules, and you play it fourth wall breaking. It's a good nostalgic throwback. You play teenagers going to see a slasher flick in like the late 70s, early 80s, and there's the usual teenagers in the 70s and 80s nonsense, drugs and booze and whatever, and you're in a movie and then things happen, and then yes, there is a cult in this. Oh yeah. Shit.
I've only seen the pictures of the physical. This is another, but it's gorgeous. Not just the art, but the print factor. Like, you did a really good job with it. But I want to pause real quick, because like, you are a DCC head. Like, you're someone who's into it. You're a lifer. You're hardcore about it. You're not a Millhouse. I was going to say Melvin, but you say Millhouse is what you always call the certain group. We'll get into that later. But I think a lot of people have, like, they know like Sailors on the Starless Sea, or they know like a little bit about DCC, like, oh, it's D&D with funny dice. It's more rules light. The magic system's like super fun. 0 level funnels, like they know the big 30,000. But like what you just threw out was like, oh, this is a modern-ish, right? Like setting that's looking at something very, very different, which I've seen a lot of people do with DCC, and knowing how the Hobonomicon crew plays is a very common way of playing DCC. But for a lot of people, they don't even know this about DCC, right? So somebody who's playing DCC, how does something like Beyond the Silver Screen even play?
And a lot of it comes down to the judge, whoever's facilitating the game, and how much they're into it. if you really hit that schlock factor level, and as people who play with me know, most of my games end up being Saturday morning cartoons. I'm not going to hide it. It's some of my favorite shit in the world. If you get judges that just will like lean into that over the top, the gonzo is a very overused word that it's not quite appropriate, but it's more just slapstick in my opinion. Just really push it, and just lean into the stuff that it was inspired by, I
And
don't know.
sometimes this might be even like roll a dice. All right, what does that mean? Right, like in the
Yeah.
moment, it's not necessarily like
Yeah.
there is a little bit of like this. There's a little bit of jazz to the way that that crew runs things, and not that they're just like throwing the rules out or not doing it. Like lots of times, there's very refined system rules, but part of it's a little bit more of a design ethos that I think again a lot of people don't know about. If you are coming to Gen Con, like I know Jared is, but like if you're coming to Gen Con and you want to experience this world, Chris Bissett, like one of my favorite moments of Gen Con last year. I didn't get to hang out with Chris Bissett at all, but we were in a room together for an extended period of time because Chris came to Hobonomicon and they were there. And like, it's the happiest I've ever seen somebody just wandering around that room from table to table, living and dying and getting sent back to hell and working their way out and just having a blast. And it's an absolutely insane experience. It's a blast to just watch, even if you don't want to play what is happening in that room. And so like, it was an exposure to a totally different culture of DCC that I think a lot of people don't know exists. And I think Beyond the Silver Scream is going to be a really good incarnation for people to get that to their tables and see something like that in play for potentially the first time ever. So I think it's going to be really, really cool.
Well, and I'm in talks with several of the folks who put out a lot of those early wave zines. We all know that. Well, we know, you and I know that life cycle of a zine maybe 18 months, 2 years these days, and I mean it's fine. And so some of these have some of them have fallen out of print. Some of them need, like this got some expanded content, got revised, updated. I went and did an editorial pass, moved some stuff around. Just Forrest was cool with that. Matt Hildebrand, who did the original design and layout of it, was just like, yeah, here, take the files. And I was like, woo, thanks, Matt. So yeah, it's one of those. The only thing I didn't do, which I got it as close as I could. The original was printed with craft paper cover. So it was black and white on the brown craft paper, and it was really good. There was a texture under there that got pretty close to it, and I printed these. These have matte lamination on them. For the actual print run, I went with uncoated. Nice. Just to kind of see what rough them up.
You get wear on it, but yeah, I actually I'm a huge fan of uncoated, generally. With rarely being brave enough to actually do it, right? Is one of the hard things, but I love it. Another one that's in, though I don't have my copy. It's upstairs down here with me. Before we hop back over to some more cat pictures, let's talk about Garden of Korda. Tell me a little bit about Garden of Korda.
Look, the colors match. Maybe that's what it is. The colors in my office match the colors of Korda. Thanks, Cade. So Garden of Korda is a nice little module. To me, it's very, very segue introductory material. If you've got folks who've not tried Troika before, or who have tried and have maybe tried one or two other games and just kind of want to get a feel, it's a nice location. There are things to do there. Your crew, gang, whatever, ends up at this scientific research station in the heart of a giant. The ardent giants of Korda. And there's an underlying adventure, but it's mostly just several locations, and you just kind of explore and explain. It's got a what's that, a roscope? Is it Forbidden Planet? Is that what I'm thinking of?
I mean, I love Forbidden.
animation thing.
Are you talking about? Are you talking about? Because there's two Forbidden Planets. Are you talking about the
The
Liam
French.
Neeson giant robot one, or are you talking about the French animated film?
Yes, it very much feels like that.
Awesome.
When Cade was sending me these pieces and working with it, and our good friend Christian Kessler helped with development and design, and we also did another little thing too because going forward, and it's the thing that folks have been doing for a while, but dual statting.
Yeah.
Models and stuff like that. And because we'd done the Ruinous Palace of the Metagorgos and put the BX stats in there, we put some BX stats in here. And it's super tight little lines. It's not the full back zero line and everything like that. Like it's just some nice little simple things so you can flip back and forth. Going forward, we're gonna be putting out a bunch of stuff with Space Penguin that is, DCC or 5e because we're wanting to get to people over into DCC. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just little bits and just little pieces there. You call it D's and D's, but it gets them over. You know what I'm saying? So the really neat thing about Corda is you can actually run this in Mothership. There's not stats in here to do that, but it very much can very quickly go to giant bug horror if you wanted it to. So
all right, everybody make a luck check for me. Go ahead and roll 2d6 and put it in the chat. We'll see who's going to win a copy of Garden of Corda. So it's going to 2d6 and put your result in the chat. Don't just say a number. You have to roll 2d6. If you just say a number, you don't win, and I'll know. Especially if you're Keegan. And so, all right. Cool. Let's awesome. We're gonna look at a couple more titles, but we're also coming up on towards the end of our time here. So we want to make sure we get a good number of cat picks in. So this is going to be Neville, aka Lieutenant Dan, on account that when they got him, he had 2 broken legs. Zora, aka Mama, on account of the fact that she's Poe's mom, and Old Man Jinx are some of the cats that we are about to see as soon as I update where I'm pulling images from. All right, here we go. Here we go. Some pretty kitties.
Go look at that nose. By the way, I'm not doing that as an affected voice. That's literally what I sound like most of the time.
I do love that y'all are using America's #1 litter brand to take care of your cat. There's a nice subtle plug there in the background.
Oh, I mean, I use it too. Multi cats. Torty.
Yeah. Some good cats.
That's a stern. Where is my food, parent cat face?
Oh, this is not anybody's cat. But this is a really great picture. That's somebody posted. It's so amazing. Like I've stared at it 3 or 4 times.
Nice.
Anyways, let's see. Here's another cat. Here's a cat.
I mean, that's a good cat. Yep, exactly.
Melon, this is so good. That cat loves Sonic.
Wow. I mean, I'm with that cat too.
Yeah. What does everybody think that cat's drinking? I'm gonna go with ocean water because I love me an ocean water.
No, I actually worked at Sonic a couple of different times for multiple years
on the roller skates.
And yes, I actually did skate. That is not dark enough to be an ocean water. It's probably a cherry limeade.
I think it's too light to even be cherry. I'd go straight up limeade.
Yeah.
Some awful cherry thing. Vodka smuggled in says it's water.
Thrift says it's a strawberry lemonade. Yep.
All right.
Having worked at Sonic, we also we preferred rum than vodka.
There you go. Here's Colin Odensbeard's cat Freya minding her own business in her office chair. Ranger dozing against as they work.
Make them big.
Great.
There we go. Yeah.
Great cat snuggle right there. Look at that subtle rune Karen placement in the
Uh-huh.
background, and that we
Ooh.
deal in lead on the other side. You're gonna put up cute pictures of cats? Let me
Yeah.
let me get my games in there. And apparently Colin did Forgotten Realms also too in the background. There is another one of their games. And so, all right, Christian again. Get some. Man, look at those eyes. This is a good. I like this one.
Mhm.
Cat in a bag. We love a cat in a bag. Sonic is scary. Sonic is some weird Freedom Land thing. It is a drive-in historically, which means that you pull up and a car hop will come out and take your order, or now modernly you put on your order through a speaker and then they will bring your food out to you and you eat it in your car. So it's a classic kind of an American drive-in things. Kirby, I read Christian cats are so fucking cute, and then I realized you were saying Christian's cats are so cute. And then here's another Tony's our Mr. Cat Tears, who has not divulged yet how their name is pronounced, and therefore is not eligible to win that game until we know whether they're making this specific cat cry. That's what we need to know. Is this specific cat being made to cry, or are we talking about this cat's ears? That's what I need to know.
I hope they're not crying.
I don't know. Look at there's some eye goop in the corner there. That could be from tears. That could be from tears.
I like this. This is a hey, don't mess with me.
Yep. All right, let's just vote. So if Cat Ears isn't going to tell us, if Tony's not going to tell us, we just got to vote. Is it Cat Tears or Cat Ears? Only you can decide. Let us know in the chat. I'm going to give, also we're going to say that the winner is Punk Soup, who is watching over on YouTube, because they got the best roll out of everybody on YouTube, who is just them. So they're going to win. They got a 5 though, which is also a pretty good roll under, also there too. So Punk Soup, reach out over on Twitter. We're going to get you a copy of the Gardens of Corda shipped out, as well. You can also email me, Tony@brandfoxllc.com, if that's better. We got a lot of votes coming in. Mr. Cat Ears, not helpful. Mr. C at Tears, ears. Kata Tears, it's an ancestral name. Mr. Cat Ears, Mr. Cat Tears, as it rips, as in Mr. Cat Tears.
Mr. Cat Tears.
As in
I
rips
like
and
that
tears.
one. Now every time I type Tony's address, the email address to message him about something, I'm going to be like, I'm going to say tears in my head now. I'm probably not right.
If you want to go visit back on any of these or add your own cat pictures, because there are more in industry bullshit because people just did not leave it all on the channel. There are more cat pictures at ttrpg.link/.
I mean, I think people should just keep throwing cat pictures into that thread.
I didn't set the thread. I set the thread to archive if people stop using it only.
Right.
So as long as people keep on putting cat pictures in there, it'll live forever.
These days, I practice like taking more pictures of the cats, and so I can share unique pictures on the several servers that I'm active on.
Yeah.
So I'll add that. Now that there's a cat picture repository there, there's one over on Melsonia, Square of Sunlight, which is a book that Thriftomancer, who is also in the chat, is working on. I'm super excited for that one.
I do love that Tony is also just sitting in the chat refusing to acknowledge how their name is pronounced while this all goes on. It is one of my favorite things about this evening so far. Let's see what else. Okay, so we're gonna talk about our last giveaway, but then we're gonna dive into the fact that you're getting into skirmish games also before we dop off.
Sure.
So tell me a little bit about distress signals.
Distress signals? Why, I don't know anything. Because we didn't do what Jarrett usually says do. Put words on the back. Jarrett went ahead.
Yeah, but this is very strong, and there is a word on the back. It does say Mayday exclamation point on there.
Yeah, it pretty much says everything it needs to say on the tin. So distress signals and Mayday.
It's another just really good spread.
Yeah, these are nice little drops of ships or stations for. Well, you can use them as campaign starters. You can use them as campaign continuations. You can use them as we've only got 2 players tonight. Do you guys want to play something else? Yeah, let's try Mothership. Written by Reese Carter, art by Holly Jenka and Ruby C, edited by Roz, design and layout by Eric Hill. This is the second larger or longer published thing that Reese has done. The other one from last year, Dead in the Water, has become one of the big favorites amongst Mothership folks. It's a super nice, quick, clean. It's useful for exactly what we want people to do, which is play the game. And you can run probably 2-3 sessions out of some of these larger ones in here. But if you need to do it quick, if you just need to ship because you're trying to introduce players to the mechanics or the concepts, or hey, maybe everybody's short on time, let's just play it on 1.5 speed, let's a little bit faster. You've got a smaller surface area. So yeah, you showed some of the art, and then these are like the matching spreads with it. Full ship maps, all the information you could need. Yeah.
Sweet. I'm just saying hello to I'm going to be mispronouncing their name, I feel like. Ziltifa over in the Discord, because they have hopped over and already figured out rules and rules. Go ahead and say hello to everybody in the Discord also, too, since you're in there now. Introduce yourself, drop any links you want to. But let's talk a little bit about skirmish games. Is it something y'all are getting into also, too? We're seeing it pop up more and more. And how are we going to decide the giveaway for this one? Distress signals. Everybody type in a word that you think should have been on the back of this cover. Just any word. You could even, I'll take up to 3 words in a row from you that you think should have been on this back cover, and we'll pick one that absolutely should have been on the back cover that we also like. So if you use a conjunctive or kind of common word, you're probably not going to get picked. So we got to like it, and it probably.
Bannerless games. I'm sorry, they went with 3 pretty good words that would have done it. I think we should just send it straight to them. Tumescent, turgid, and throbbing.
I like how Scariest immediately gave up.
Yeah.
Or maybe just was proposing that fuck should have been on the back. But I like to interpret that as when they saw tumescent, turgid, and throbbing that Bannerless typed in, they were just like, fuck. Oh, I lost the game. So send more ammo. Increased. We got to get back on Outbreak. Awesome. So you're getting into skirmish games. Talk to us about Dread Knights.
Mm-hmm. So I've been working with Will Ramen for the past couple of years, in project management capacity and editorially on most of the Forbidden Psalm stuff. And so it's a Forbidden Psalm game in Victoria, Gothic horror. You've got your vampires. This is the red cover. This is the hardcover. So this will be the usual red hardcover. The launch is going to be all black with a white skull on it. We did quicker run through Mixam for the black covers. That's what's holding the launch up, Tony. Wait, you already know this. It takes a little bit longer to print hardcovers. And then the normal large, regular ones will have the red cover on it. Same content inside. Will it's just
you
like
just know you got it first if it's black.
Let's just do it for that, right? And
yeah.
Just like, okay. And then the soft cover, which is what I personally prefer when I play this game or any of the variations on it. I like it because we figured out after 17 releases together how far to get the margins, right? So we're not losing anything in there. And I like it because I'm, I made Ryan a little sad on TWS last week because I was talking about cutting out my games and tearing them and bending the covers and stuff like that. I like to do that. I like to have a thing that I can use and grab.
I wish people were more down with Wyro bound. Like I'm a big fan of, can I just lay this out flat on a table and have it sit on the page I want it to sit on and use it as a table artifact. And I get why none of us are. Like, I get it, because I could easily not be a coward and just lean into it. But yeah, I'm a hardback on the shelf, soft back at the table like person. I like my hardbacks for collecting and my softbacks for playing with.
The biggest drawback is the of spiral bound, that sort of things, is that unless you really devote a lot of real estate. It's still a very small area. Those pages are easily tearable. Like, I personally don't care. I will play with that, and I like that stuff. But I do see how folks who, who don't want to deal with a bunch of loose leaf mass trash around their gaming area, their apartment.
They're harder to store. They're harder to ship. They don't sell on a shelf well. Like, I mean, it's just, there's a lot of things that go with it. We think about it as a subpar form of binding, even though it has a really great purpose. Was it what was Luke's title that was wire bound?
We did and treasure. 9 ampersands and treasure with that at EF, and it was and I really enjoy that. It is a little weird and awkward, but does it feel pretty kind of neat and pretty cool? It's a factor in a format that, like, I enjoyed it when Jeff Talanian did it for the first version of Astonishing Swordsman and Sorcerers of Hyperborea. It was pretty enjoyable in that. I think that's where it actually fits well, is as an accoutrement, like inside of a boxed set. It feels a little more natural, I guess, in there, maybe, as opposed to, like you said, just randomly picking it up off of the shelf somewhere. So, and you remember TSR tried the loose leaf version with the Monstrous Compendium, where they had the binders that you could actually get with those loose leaf sheets that you could put in there. So, anyway, back to Dread Knights. It's the next in the Forbidden Psalm series. Skirmish miniatures. You hunt vampires, you hunt werewolves. You might become a vampire, you might become a werewolf. I ran a couple games of this at Gary Con and got a lot of good feedback. And some folks who were playing in it were actually editors as well, and they were like, "Oh, it's all fucked up, Jarrett." And so I came back and fixed it. So, those are shipping. Those should be at the warehouse soon. Sorry, we don't have any more of those for giveaways, but maybe on a future episode.
Maybe if we keep on doing Feline Fridays, we'll give away more shipping. If we do it.
Well, I think we might.
And so, no, but I think that's a great thing. Jared and I haven't discussed it specifically, but we have discussed it abstractly. The monthly show we did before was one of our favorite things to do. It was a great chance to get the word out about cool stuff that was coming out in our respective spheres. So do expect Feline Fridays in some way, shape, or form to probably become a recurring feature. We will probably do what we did before and have actual like features and other stuff like that we're going to talk about. But I do think cat feature probably here to stay for definitely. Sure. I can't imagine us bailing on cat feature at this point in time. So we'll keep those cat picture coming. Make sure the cat thread lives forever. I'm gonna go make sure I pin it in that channel on our. This channel doesn't have any pinned messages yet. That's fine. Go ahead and pin this one. Can I pin this thread? Oh, can you not pin a thread?
I think it just pops. It just shows up as a thread.
I mean, it does differently, but what if? I guess it's always popped out separately, so
it's
you
always
don't need to pin it.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, anything that you want. So people have not yet. We did pin the link earlier. If you have not yet and you want to know more about what Space Penguin Ink is up to, the best way to find out about that, you can follow them on social media at Space Penguin Ink. But the best way to do it is to go to their website and either wait for the pop-up, which happens pretty quickly, or scroll down and sign up for the newsletter list to get notified when things go live, all that other stuff. If you won something tonight, which we're given banner lists for, we're given tumescent, turgid, and throbbing. Is that what we're doing with?
Sorry, it's just too funny.
So banner lists, reach out to me. We'll get you set up also too with a giveaway as well. And so go ahead and drop me a message and we'll get you taken care of for that. But we will be back. We will be doing more of these. We don't have a sign off. So last thing we're going to do is just everybody suggest sign-offs right now while we hang out and chit-chat for a little bit. You got any ideas?
Man, Man, there's really good ones, but you don't want to copy any of those.
We got meow. A lot of people just meowing in the.
Yeah, we could just meow, 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 meow.
Are you?
Meow. My cats are actually next door. Meow, meow, meow. Maybe I'll sneak the Jeeps over for a future episode.
I mean, I do think if we can figure out a way to make every segment have a cat sound in it, like "What's up, meow," as one of the segments for what's happening in the world of space of Space Penguin. Meow. That's what I call.
No, meow. That's what I call RPGs. Oh, let's do it. It's too bad we don't know any Australians who are really bad with puns to help us out.
If only. If only.
Reese Carter sucks at puns.
Blow a kiss like a dating game. Spink in pussy. So terrible to say.
Terrible. Yes. If Dave, if you're watching, shout out to Dave. Stop this. Okay.
Awesome.
But
yeah, go sign up on the website. Check things out. This would be fun if you enjoyed this, which you guys are great to have in the chat. Thanks to let's see. Thanks to Gorgor for resubscribing again, 16 months. We're almost at a 1.5 year anniversary of our will they, won't they relationship. Gorgor, always great to have you in with us. Zilt, if you're trying to drop a link, drop it to me over on Discord, and I will put it in because you cannot. But spacepenguin.ink should be pinned for everybody at the top of this. Go check that out. If you want to support this channel, which we would love because we've been on a kind of a little bit of a hiatus because of some of the transitions, we would love to have more financial support so that our corporate overlords know that this is a valuable resource in space for people. Consider subscribing here on the channel or heading over to our Ko-fi and subscribing there. But the number one way that my boss knows you like what we do is if you go to +1exp.com and buy a game right now. We did realize that there are small snails that have climbed into each of our ears and are telling us to constantly buy more zines. So if you go to our website and use the discount code ear snails, you'll get 10% off and satisfy your ear snail zine desiring overlords also too. So last but not least, if you have a friendly local game store that you'd like to stock our games or the games from Space Penguin Inc., please let them know to reach out to Jarrett or myself. We will be putting together a master catalog of our games, their games, and other games that we house in the warehouse, like our friends over at Possum Creek. We've got some cool stuff that we're going to announce soon with a Swedish-based RPG design group that we'll tell you about later, that we're going to be helping them host a web store also too, and some other great designers in the space that I'm very, very excited about. So if you have a friendly local game store and you want to be able to shop locally, please let us know because we're happy to do wholesale orders also too from either and both store and make it real easy. You can also buy Meat Castle's stuff over there also too, and that 10% discount works as well. What even is a zine? No one knows, and we'll never find out. With that said, we're just gonna meow until I take us off air. Meow.